In the last episode, we drank some good Russian vodka, went the long way around to Kazan because there was no Google Maps, jumped on a ferry on the Volga River, and Stan had to deal with horse shit. We were late for the concert, the fans nearly stormed the stage but got pushed back by security, and we had a smashing after party at the hotel with some invited guests, hung out with Snoopy the sauna keeper, and Jeff met his future wife. If we thought the roads had been rough up to now, we were in for some extra muddy, rough rides ahead of us. We should have had a four-wheel drive or borrowed a tank off the Russians, but Stan kept us going as we headed south towards Togliatti, and even though it was only a 5-hour drive, it was lucky we had an extra day before the gig, because we left Kazan late the next day as we nursed our sore heads. And we didn't make it to Togliatti because of the weather and muddy roads. We ended up stopping in Buinsk, and Igor found us a place to stay at a kind of truck stop, as Brian calls it. You will see in the video it was more like camp beds, and we had to cook our own food for the night and share one big room, which is a step up from a little van, but little protection from the constant snoring and occasional farts, of which I had been accused of perpetrating both, I might add, proudly.
The last piece of the road boy was saying, look, those lights. We have the wrong road. The lights are all there.
I know, he started off with that. I started with that and I just pulled the thing over my head because I thought, I don't want to hear this. I just don't want to hear it. You know, it's like, it's not happening. I refuse to.
We are a cigarette in
our sweet in, what's the name of this town next?
Definitely. Buinsk.
Buinsk.
Yeah, we're in Buinsk at the moment.
Yeah, we were.
Happening in Buinsk.
We were. The road on the map was not good. We passed by that little town.
I reckon, you know what I reckon the map actually has got fuck all to do with reality.
It's weird. It's probably before the war or something.
Not properly to scale.
Could be.
Well, so
Probably not.
Which war?
They moved the cities.
And Napoleon passed through.
yeah. Probably the horse tracks instead of the.
That book of Igor's looks like it's from the Dark Ages.
You bought that? Yeah, we bought that.
I came here as a sound engineer. Huh? Beautiful.
I did it in the end.
I'm getting around in a hotel somewhere in the middle of nowhere,
Really appreciate it.
making food, have to get up at 6.
Yeah, okay.
This is real.
Oh, this is great! Guys!
We should send Igor Bachelor Party.
Bachelor Party.
Yeah, you have to
That's a
see this
movie.
movie
That's great. You should see that.
because Misha, he's exactly like Rudy.
We left Buinsk early the next morning for Togliatti, and the weather and roads were much the same, and we even had to get out of Stan at one point to help push it through the mud. And when I say we, it was actually everyone but the rhythm section, because we thought it was time for some other members of the band to pull their weight, or push in this case.
Just before the gig.
Tend to judge or gauge gigs different to practice.
Togliatti. Dressing room, parade building.
Oh yeah, we'll probably play 2-3 hours in a practice. Never play that
Tea
long.
before the sound check.
They have like 50
This is one of our dressing rooms, we have 2.
There's a book.
This
Tried
is
very
the
hard to get a service commentary here from Jeff Winter, man on the spot here.
yeah, other artists who in that book.
You might know some of these.
Yeah.
we had a sound check, had a shower,
We've got to put pictures in there.
I play a gig. Great big building, 800 people or something.
Use one of those ones from that bloke in
That's all we've got.
2 dressing rooms, it's unbelievable.
Dangerous for you because
What's called train off the rails. That's what we were like today in the mud. We were about this deep in mud. You got to see our other clothes. You
Okay, this is after, what is it, Togliatti?
Crowd was great. The fucking people that ran the place sucked, though, especially the director and the monitor guy.
The monitor guy is a fucking asshole.
Piece of him.
They let the crowd in. We hadn't even done our first song sound check.
One song sound check treated us. People of the organization are not organized. We played pretty good for the sound we had.
The last 4 songs, we're in front of Jeffrey.
Where's that other water I was saving? You fucking nicked it, didn't you?
I just want to swig, man. Drinks. What kind of 2 big drinks?
Give me the back of your shirt, Brian. But stay there, eh? Because it's got to focus. Here it comes.
Look.
3 more gigs to go.
Real Russian mud. Real Russian mud. You don't find that anywhere but in Russia.
We had a terrible day with the car today.
Fucking awful it was.
Somewhere in the middle of some...
The rhythm section slept in the van while the rest of us got out and pushed.
The section were the only smart ones.
Yeah, we are!
The rhythm section were fucking artists and sensitive as shit. Whereas the poor old guitarist had to fucking slave away and push them.
Yeah, so the guitarists do something also. It's about time. It's about time you got out of your fucking lazy ass. Okay. Ah, yeah.
Everything.
Okay. And of course the natural shot of me again with the body camera in my hand is always the same, eh?
Yeah, but swing round to your right.
Jeffrey.
Short fat Jeffrey in that mirror.
Oh yeah, it's the short fat Nick also.
Short fat Nick also.
You're getting shorter and shorter. You're shrinking, man.
They're mirroring this part.
They've been eating a fucking thing all day.
Yeah, it's the real.
No drinks available.
Spinal water is...
Fucking dope till after the concert. We don't even get a sound check. And I'm expected to do my best. And I'm a fucking artist.
That night after the gig, we stayed in a hotel right on the banks of the Volga River, which was picturesque and expansive, and hardly visible on the other side as we got up in the morning to enjoy the view. A lot of our time was spent in Stan and arriving at venues, and it was unfortunate we had little time to sightsee and enjoy some of the amazing architecture and history that these cities had to offer. The rest of this video involves an argument over the driving abilities of a certain member of the band, which sort of scared the shit out of us. The driving, not the argument, and it became amplified after a few drinks, and as anyone who has travelled in a similar situation, in close quarters and living in each other's laps will know, it is never smooth sailing all the way. The band got over it the next day, except for Bart, our sound man, who found it too much and left us after this gig, getting a return ticket from Sverdlovsk to Moscow and then back to Amsterdam. But for us the show had to go on, and we still had Richard the Roadhog. We were all looking forward to the drive into the Ural Mountains, and it was Brian's birthday the next day.
The rest of them don't like it either, then I'm off. That's my point, pure and simple.
Pure and simple.
And I can't see any argument with that. And I'm not being paranoid, I'm not being drunk, I'm just being logical. Okay, well, and if you can't see it, then I'd say the same thing to you at 9 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock tomorrow, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. With or without alcohol.
Nick, you do it with Brian.
It's nothing to do with alcohol.
Brian does it with
Maybe
Nick,
the tone of
I
my
do it
voice
with
is
Nick, Nick does it with me, everybody does it with
my
each other,
point is
but we
nothing to
don't
do
get
with
each other.
Believe me.
No.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Everyone. Okay, it's brilliant.
But I tell you, my point is, look, my point is, I'm not driving anymore. Somebody else can do it. Brian, Corinne, Jeff, see how well you feel, Bart. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, the conversation goes. If you want to continue, it's okay with me, but I will talk about
This goes on for a while and was mostly about Bart's backseat driving, and Nick's annoyance of having him look over his shoulder and criticise his driving abilities, which the rest of us shared to some degree, but in all fairness he owned Stan and we couldn't exactly tell him he couldn't drive his own car, so we were relieved when we got to Sverdlovsk and were given another designated Russian driver named Oleg. Thanks, Igor. It's a normal part of touring that frustrations can build up, no big deal really. Anyway, that's it for this episode. In the next one, we will be heading to Sverdlovsk and playing with another popular Russian band called Chive. They are still going strong today in Russia, and we have some recording of their gig, so I will share that with you in the next video. Thanks for watching, hit subscribe, and you can purchase the Walking Tour music on iTunes if you would like to support us and the channel.
Easier is that you at least tell that you don't feel good afraid. Of course. Because
Nobody can